Hello to everyone. I am Professor Raja, working as Assistant Professor, EC Department, SNS College of Technology, and Autonomous Institution, Coimbatore. In this YouTube video, I am going to discuss about 23 EET 105 Fundamentals of Electrical and Electronics Engineering subject under Unit 3 Wiring, Grounding and Safety for the topic General Rules of Wiring. Based on Unit 1 and Unit 2, you have the knowledge about how the metals are conducting the electric current, or how the Kirchhoff's voltage law, current law can be implemented in real-time application, and the various types of material which is used for conducting electrical power supply are also discussed. Now we are going to discuss how the wiring can be given in any building like your classroom or any industry area, or wherever you have seen the switch on the power supply, or you can connect any bulb or fan or tube light or any water heater to the input of the switch. Now we can going to discuss. If you see this figure, you will see the wires are connected some element to the main circuit board. Now what are the rules are implemented by how these wiring connections are given. If you see, the screwdrivers are held like this, and the screws are inside like this, and the wires are putting like this. So we can see in detail how these wiring connections are given. So this is the way how your classrooms or any living room or any kitchen area can be connected. So these are called the lights and switches. These are the normal switch, and these some circuits are called main circuit board. Now we will see in detail. General wiring rules include using correctly sized wires for the load, ensuring all metal parts are grounded using proper color coding. In general, if you see in your laboratory, there are three colors are used, that is yellow, red and black. For example, here they given green for earth, black for neutral and red, yellow, blue for phases, and separating light and power circuits. So why these all coloring codings are given means, by seeing this color you may know which one is the positive, which one is the negative, and which one is the earth or grounding connections. Always use a licensed electrician to protect each live wire with a fuse or circuit breaker, and ensure no fuse or switch is placed in the neutral or earth wire. So if you see in your classroom, the switches are available, but at the end of your classroom, that is at the entire building, we have only MCB at the long connection way. So this MCB or switch connection, this may be given by a licensed electrician for proper connection. So this is the general rules of wiring. So safety and protection. Grounding. All non-current carrying metal parts such as conduit and castings must be properly earthed. The earth terminal of all socket outlets must be permanently connected to the earth wire. Circuit protection. Each live wire or phase must be protected by a fuse or circuit breaker of the current rating. Each sub-circuit should be connected to a distribution fuse board. Switches and fuses. No switch or fuse should ever be placed in a neutral or earth conductor. Switches should be located on the live conductor only. If you see in your classroom, the switches are above the ground level, and we have to place a proper grounding and proper circuit protection for all the safety precautions. Next, wiring selection. So the current carrying capacity of the wire should be greater than the load current. Ideally, it is 1.5 times much larger than the normal value. You can use the standard quality wires and accessories with ISI marking for safety. Work practices. Always turn off power before working on any circuit. Never use damaged or frayed wires, or replace broken switches and plugs immediately. Fire safety. Fire caution notices on all equipment, and keep fire extinguishers near electrical panels. If you see in your laboratory like workshop practice laboratory or engineering practice laboratory, the fire extinguisher is placed inside the laboratory and outside the laboratory for safety purposes. The next one is the wiring and circuit design. Color coding. Use color coding schemes to identify wires such as green for earth, black for neutral, and red, yellow for different phases. Separate circuits. Keep light and fan wiring separate from power wiring in a building. Load distribution. In a three-phase system, distribute the load as equally as possible across all phases. Sub-circuits. The number of load points on each sub-circuit is often limited That is example a maximum of 10 for lights and fan circuits. For example, in your classroom, if you see the fan and lights are connected only with the minimum number of switches, say or your classroom is having the size of 20 cross 30, then the maximum switches are 5 lights and 5 fans. If you see your classroom, it is 20 cross 30 size, that is feet, 20 feet length, 30 feet long. So the total number of switches inside this classroom is 10. How this 10 means? 5 switches are given for separate light and 5 switches are given for separate fans. In our college, we are not providing any fan regulator. It may be given or not given, so we can take it this. Installation standard: install switchboards at a height of at least 1.25 meters from the floor. Use a 3-pin socket for all outlets with 15 ampere sockets for power circuits and 5 ampere sockets for light and fan circuits. Before energizing, that is, before we have to give a proper power way of power supply, we need to provide a testing. Test the installation for insulation resistance and leakage current before giving it to power to ensure it doesn't exceed 1/5000 of the maximum current. Load capacity: don't connect additional loads to an existing installation until it's confirmed that the installation can safe handle at the extra load. It is the general rule which is given. Every installation is to be properly protected near the point of entry of supply cables by a 2-pole linked main switch and a fuse unit. In a 2-wire installation, if one pole is permanently earthed and no fuse switch or circuit breakers is to be inserted at this pole. A 3-pole switch and fuse unit is to be used in 3-phase power supply. If you see in our classroom, the students are inserting a mobile charger in a 3-phase without knowing that is the 3-phase. So 3-phase means you have insert only a 3-phase like a charger cable or a projector cable. Likewise, you need to insert. The conductor used is to be such a size that it may carry load current safely. The conductors installed are to be safe in all respects. Every subcircuit is to be connected to a distribution of fuse board. Every line is to be protected by a fuse of suitable rating as per the requirements. A switchboard is to be installed so that the bottom lines 1 to 25 meters above the floor, because even a children can touch the switch and the current may pass through her body. So in order to avoid this, we have placed the switch above the ground floor of 1 to 25 meters. All plugs and socket outlets are to be 3-pin type, the appropriate pin of socket being connected permanently to the earth system. The next is the important one. Adequate number of socket outlets is to be provided at suitable places in all rooms, so it has to avoid use of long length of flexible cords. Only 3-pin 5 ampere socket outlets are to be used in all lights and fan subcircuits, and only 3-pin 15 ampere socket outlets are to be used in all power subcircuits. All socket outlets are to be controlled by individual switches which are to be located immediately adjacent to it. For 5 ampere socket outlets, if installed at a height of 25 cm above the floor level, the switch may be, if desired, it's to be installed at a height of 1 to 30 meter, that is the above the 20 feet only. In situations where a socket outlet is accessible to children, it is recommended to use shuttered or interlocked socket outlets. That is, we can cover the pin of the switch. In case an appliances require the use of socket outlet of rating higher than 50 ampere, it is used to be used and it is to be connected through a double pole which of appropriate rating. In no case a socket outlet of rating higher than 15 ampere is to be installed. Socket outlets are to be located centrally, being the appliances with which these are used. Socket outlets are to be installed either 25 cm or 1.30 meters above the floor level as desired. No socket outlet is to be provided the bathroom at a height less than 1.30 meters. Depending on the size of the kitchen, 1 or 2 3-pin 15 ampere socket outlets are to be provided to plug in hot plates and other appliances. Dining rooms, bedrooms, living rooms and study rooms, if required, each is to be provided with at least 1 3-pin 15 ampere socket outlets. All incandescent lamps, unless otherwise required, are to be hung at a height of 2.5 meters above the floor level. Unless otherwise specified, all ceiling fans are to be hung 2.75 meters above the floor. Lights and fans may be wired on a common circuit. Each sub-circuit is not to have more than a total of 10 points of light, fans and socket outlets. The load on each sub-circuit is to be restricted to 800 watts. If a separate circuit is installed for fans only, the number of fans in the circuit is not to exceed 10. The load on each power sub-circuit is to be normally restricted to 3000 watts. In no case, more than 2 outlets are to be in power sub-circuit. No fuse and switch is to be provided in earthen conductors. Every circuit or apparatus is to be provided with a separate means of isolation such as switch. All apparatus requiring attention are to be provided with means of access to it. In any building, light and fan wiring and power wiring are to be kept separate. In 3-phase 4 wiring installation, the load is to be distributed equally on all the phases. No additional load is to be connected to an existing installation unless it has been ascertained that the installation can safely carry the additional load and that the earthing alignment are adequate. So this is the mind map where we have start and we have in this general rules of wiring. So this is very important. So next we will continue what are the general rules. Lamp holders used in bathrooms are to be constructed or shrouded in insulation materials and fitted with a protective shield, and earth continuity conductor is not to be the size of 7th times 0.915 millimeter. The metal sheath or conduits for all wiring metal coverings of all consuming apparatus or appliances is to be properly earthened in order to avoid danger from electrical shock due to leakage or failure installation. Each sub-circuit is to be protected against excessive current by fuse or automatic circuit breaker. So the purpose of fuse or automatic circuit breaker is to avoid the current continuity connection. All live conductors has to be installed or otherwise safeguarded to avoid danger. After completion of work, the installation is to be tested before energization. So thank you for watching my video. In this YouTube video, I discussed the general rules of wiring connections inside your classroom or general building. Next YouTube video, I will bring a new innovative topic. Thank you for watching my video.